Welcome to this deep dive. And today we're going to explore something kind of interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Um,
ready.
how the objects around us might be like secretly influencing our thoughts and actions.
Okay.
Kind of a mind-blowing topic in a way.
Yeah, it really is.
You know, it's like how the design of a chair practically screams, "Sit on me."
Right. Or how a door handle just looks at you and says, turn me.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah. It is fascinating how our environment interacts with our subconscious.
Yeah.
It's not just about conscious choices, but those subtle nudges
Mm.
that shape our behavior without us even realizing it.
Yeah, it's like our surroundings are low-key playing mind games with us.
Hmm.
So for this deep dive, we're looking at a conversation
Oh,
between a human and an AI
interesting.
named Metta.
Okay.
And Metta is an expert in artificial intelligence.
Okay. An AI expert.
Yeah.
Got it.
And the human asks this really interesting question. How do everyday objects play a subconscious role in our thoughts and actions?
That is a great question. And it gets right to the heart of the concept of affordances.
Affordances.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Okay.
I need a little ELI 5 here.
Okay. So think of it this way. Every object has certain possibilities for action built into its design.
Okay.
A door handle affords turning and opening.
Okay.
A pen affords writing.
Mm-hmm.
A staircase affords climbing.
Right.
These are the actions that the object's design suggests to us, often subconsciously.
So it's like the objects around us are constantly sending us these little invitations like, hey, use me like this.
Yes.
And we're responding to those invitations sometimes without even thinking about it.
Exactly.
Wow.
And it goes beyond just physical actions.
Oh, okay.
Think about how the layout of a grocery store influences what you buy.
Okay.
Ever notice how they put the milk and eggs way at the back?
Yes.
Forcing you to walk past all those tempting treats?
Oh, yeah, that's totally true. And I always fall for ending up with a bag of chips I didn't even plan on getting.
Right, and that's
Yeah.
a great example of how environmental cues, those affordances, can subconsciously nudge our behavior.
Okay.
But what's really interesting is how even subtle details, like the name of an object, can influence our perception of it.
Okay, now you've got me hooked.
Right.
Tell me more.
So in this conversation we're exploring,
Yeah.
the human brings up this example of a table named Mike.
Mike. That's a pretty unusual name for a table.
It is.
Why would someone name their table Mike?
Exactly, that's the point.
Okay.
The AI suggests that the name itself might prime the human subconscious in a certain way.
Maybe, hold on, priming. What does that even mean?
Okay, so priming is when exposure to one stimulus influences our response to a subsequent stimulus, even if we're not aware of it.
Okay.
So in this case, the name Mike might subtly influence how the human interacts with the table.
So it's like the name is setting the stage for a certain experience.
Precisely, for example. Mike might sound friendly and inviting,
Okay.
leading the human to feel more comfortable and relaxed while working at the table. Or it might evoke a sense of order and efficiency, priming the human for focused work.
Wow, this is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
So you're saying that even a simple name can tap into our subconscious and affect how we interact with an object.
Yes. And this brings us to the fascinating field of environmental psychology,
Oh, okay.
which suggests that our surroundings can provide subtle cues that influence our thinking and behavior,
Okay.
even without us realizing it.
I'm starting to see how this all connects.
Good.
So how does this play out in our everyday lives besides the grocery store example?
Okay, so think about the colors used in different spaces.
Okay.
The cool blues and greens in a doctor's office are often meant to evoke feelings of calmness and trust, while the bright reds and yellows in a fast food restaurant are designed to stimulate appetite and encourage quick turnover.
That makes sense. I never really thought about it that way before. It's like we're being subtly manipulated by our surroundings all the time.
Manipulated might be a bit strong, but there's definitely a subconscious influence at play.
Hmm.
And what's fascinating is that this concept of affordances extends beyond our physical environments.
You mean like our digital environments, our phones, apps, social media feeds?
Exactly. But before we dive into the digital realm, I'm curious what stands out to you so far about this idea of affordances.
Ah.
Have you started noticing how the objects around you might be subtly shaping your thoughts or actions?
Honestly, my mind is kind of blown right now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking around my office and I'm suddenly hyper aware of all the invitations my stuff is sending me.
Yeah.
My comfy chair is saying relax and stay a while my to-do list is practically screaming get to work.
Right. That's exactly the kind of awareness we're aiming for. And
Mhm.
it's empowering because once you start recognizing these subconscious influences, you can start making more conscious choices about how you design and interact with your environment.
So we're not just helpless puppets at the mercy of our surroundings.
Not at all. The more we understand about these subtle cues,
Right.
the more we can use them to our advantage.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if you want to be more productive, you might create a dedicated workspace
Okay.
that's free of distractions and filled with cues that prime you for focusing. Good lighting, a comfortable chair, maybe even some inspiring artwork.
So it's like we can hack our own psychology by designing environments that support our goals.
Precisely, think about it.
Wow.
If a fast food restaurant uses bright colors and uncomfortable seating to encourage quick turnover,
Right?
you can use the opposite strategy at home to create a space where you feel relaxed and comfortable lingering over a meal.
Okay, I'm totally on board with this.
Okay.
But let's get back to something you mentioned earlier, those
Oh,
digital environments.
great.
We spend so much time on our phones, computers, scrolling through social media.
Yeah, we do.
Do those spaces have affordances too?
Absolutely. And in fact, I'd argue that the affordances of our digital environments are even more potent because they're designed to tap into our deepest psychological needs and desires.
So what kinds of actions are our phones and apps subtly inviting us to take?
Okay, well, think about the endless scroll on social media.
Okay.
The very design of these platforms encourages us to keep scrolling, to keep consuming content, even if it's not necessarily adding value to our lives.
It's like those platforms are saying, hey, just one more post, just one more video, and before you know it, you've lost an hour.
Exactly. Or think about the notification badges on our apps.
Uh-huh.
Those little red dots are like tiny sirens, triggering a sense of urgency and FOMO,
Right.
prompting us to check our phones even when we don't really need to.
I'm totally guilty of that.
Yeah.
I feel this weird compulsion to clear those notifications, even if they're just spam.
And that's exactly how these digital affordances work.
Mhm.
They play on our subconscious desires for connection, novelty, and instant gratification.
So, in a way, our digital environments are even more manipulative than our physical environments.
Again, manipulative might be a strong word,
Okay.
but it's undeniable that these platforms are designed to keep us engaged,
Right.
often at the expense of our time, attention, and well-being.
So, what can we do about it? Are we doomed to be slaves to our digital devices?
Not at all. Just like with our physical environments, we can become more aware of the subtle ways our digital environments are influencing us
Okay.
and start to make more conscious choices.
Okay. I'm all ears.
Right.
Give me some practical tips. How do I break free from this digital spell?
Okay, so the first step is awareness.
Okay.
Start paying attention to how you feel when you're using different apps or websites.
Okay.
Are you feeling stressed, anxious, overwhelmed, depleted?
So it's like becoming a detective of my own digital experience.
Exactly. And once you start to notice these patterns, you can start making changes. Maybe you decide to set limits on your social media use or turn off notifications for certain apps. You can even redesign your home screen to prioritize apps that support your well-being rather than just suck you in.
It's about taking back control, right?
Absolutely. Remember, our digital environments are tools.
Yeah.
And just like any tool, they could be used for good or for ill. It's up to us to decide how we want to use them.
Wow, this has been so eye-opening.
Good.
I'm starting to see my phone in a whole new light.
Yeah.
It's not just a harmless gadget anymore.
Right.
It's a powerful tool that can shape my thoughts and behaviors if I'm not careful.
And that awareness is the first step towards making more conscious choices.
Okay, so now that I'm aware of these digital affordances, what are some specific things I can do to design a healthier digital environment for myself? I'm ready to reclaim my digital life, so any tips for designing a digital environment that supports my well-being?
Absolutely. One strategy is to be mindful of your app placement.
Oh.
Think about your home screen.
Mm-hmm.
The apps you see first are primed for use. So put those time-wasting apps in a folder, maybe on the second page,
Okay.
and bring forward those that align with your values, meditation apps, language learning, anything that nourishes you.
That's a great idea, out of sight, out of mind, right?
Exactly.
I'm also thinking about turning off those pesky notifications.
Yeah.
Do you really think that will make a difference?
Absolutely. Those little red dots are designed to hijack your attention.
Mm.
Turning them off can dramatically reduce the urge to constantly check your phone.
Mm.
Remember, You are in control, not the app developers.
You know, this whole conversation has me thinking,
Yeah.
if objects have affordances, do our digital environments, like our phones, apps, social media feeds, also have subconscious affordances?
Yes.
Like, what actions are they subtly inviting us to take?
That's a brilliant insight, and it goes even deeper than you might think.
Oh, wow.
It's not just about the conscious choices we make online, like clicking a link or posting a comment.
Right.
It's about the deeper subconscious ways those environments might be shaping our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors.
So it's like those platforms are constantly whispering in our ear, keep scrolling, care yourself, dodge this.
Exactly. And those whispers can be incredibly persuasive, especially since they're often playing on our insecurities and desires.
Yeah, that's true. So what's the antidote?
Okay.
How do we become more aware of these digital affordances and resist their pull?
Mindfulness is key. Just as we discussed, being mindful of how physical spaces make you feel. Do the same with your digital spaces. Notice how you feel when you're using different apps or websites.
Okay.
Do you feel energized, drained, anxious, or envious?
Okay.
This awareness allows you to make choices that align with your well-being.
I love that becoming a digital detective, observing my own reactions and making conscious decisions.
Exactly. And remember, it's not about demonizing technology.
Right.
It's about using these powerful tools in a way that supports our well-being and helps us live more fulfilling lives.
This deep dive has been incredible. It's really made me think about the hidden ways my environment, both physical and digital, is shaping my thoughts and actions. I feel like I have a whole new set of tools to create a world that truly supports my goals and values.
And that's the power of understanding affordances. You gain the ability to shape your world, both online and offline, in a way that aligns with your best self.
So to our listeners out there, I encourage you to start paying attention to the subtle cues and invitations in your environment, both physical and digital. Remember, you have the power to create a world that reflects your values and aspirations.
Yes, you do.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring.